Hey gang, welcome back. It's Cheap Comic Collector. This is episode number 72. And you might hear some background noise. One of the neighbors is mowing their lawn down the road a little ways. Hopefully it's not too bad. It's what I should be doing, but I'd rather be doing this. So yeah, we're gonna film this episode. I've got barbecue chicken in the crock pot for supper. Got a cold bottle of water here. And it's really hot out today. So it's too hot for me to mow the lawn. I'd rather, be hot in the garage filming this. So today we're going to be taking a what am I reading episode, and these are the 4 comics I just got done reading a little bit ago. And we're just going to take a look at those. We got just a random episode of Chip and Dale, Marvel feature number 2, the second appearance of the Defenders. Although I think they had like an appearance somewhere before they showed up in Marvel feature. It was they just kind of teamed up, but it wasn't called the Defenders yet. Hawk and Dove number 3, and John Carter Warlord of Mars annual number 1. So we are going to take a look at these. Let me get this out of the wrapper. And I'll be honest, I didn't actually read this issue. I've already had this issue, and I've read it before. I don't remember it, other than that I had it. It's got a great cover, and it's from 1977. And the reason I didn't read it is because I'm old and my eyesight doesn't work as well as it used to. And the print in these boxes, even though you can see it pretty good on here, it was really small. And I couldn't read it in the lighting that I had when I was reading them. And I was too lazy to get up and get a magnifying glass. Although now that I think about it, I could have just grabbed my phone and done this. And looked at it this way through the camera. I always forget that you can do that. But anyway, it's written by Marv Wolfman, adapted loosely from The Ancient Dead by Edgar Rice Burroughs. So I can vouch for the story because, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Marv Wolfman, how can you go wrong? Sal Buscema and Ernie Chan did the art, and the art is fantastic. So what I did basically was, because I couldn't read all these opening captions, and as you can see, there's a lot of them, I just went through and I enjoyed the artwork because the art is just phenomenal in this issue. And just really good stuff. So I can't comment too much on the story because I didn't read it. I could have read the word balloons, but there was so much captioning going on that I felt like I needed to read the whole thing. It's got Marvel bullpen bulletins. Stan Lee was still doing his soapbox back then. And, this is just great art. Makes you wonder sometimes that what some of the comic book artists who were really good at what they did, what they could have done instead of comic books. Not that there's anything wrong with creating comic books. I love them, but the art is just so amazing on some issues. Certain artists just were incredible. And then we get to the end, and there's kind of a pin-up at the end of this John Carter, Warlord of Mars. There's a blurb at the bottom just advertising the ongoing series, but, it's basically a pin-up. And that was it, and it looks like a great issue. I don't know if you guys saw the John Carter movie that Disney did. It pretty much got panned, and a lot of people didn't like it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. But I am definitely in the minority. Then we have Hawk and Dove number 3. This is my first time ever reading the original Hawk and Dove series. And the artwork is great. I mean, this is from 1968. And I did find this cover, an inside cover, interesting as an ad, black and white ad on the inside. First of all, why didn't they do it in color? But then for like the Brave and the Bold, they actually showed the opening splash panel instead of the cover. And it was just, okay, that's kind of neat, but very odd also. So we got credits. Gil Kane did the art with ink assist by Sal Trapani. Story by Steve Skeets. And it's interesting because they credited the artist before the writer. That doesn't happen very often. And basically, you know, if you're not familiar with Hawk and Dove, they're brothers. They both have powers, which I'm unclear on what their powers actually are. I guess they can't fly because the guy has to climb a rope to get in the one building. And but basically, Hawk is a very aggressive personality, almost a bully. And then Dove is a pacifist. He abhors violence and doesn't want to fight under any circumstances, and that creates problems. So I didn't find either character extremely likable because the Hawk wants to fight constantly, and the Dove character, I mean, you just want to punch him just because, quite honestly, because nobody's that much of a pacifist. But anyway, it was an interesting read. I had never read the story before, and but it's got two stories. I think we passed the other opening page, and that's the end of the first one there. And then this is the beginning of the second one. And it's got the same artists and the same creators. They credited the creative team in the newspaper of the... can't tell what the name of the newspaper is. It's probably supposed to be Daily Planet. Although that second letter doesn't really look like an L to me. But anyway, it was an interesting issue. And then the inside on the letters column was interesting too, because they published letters from people all over the world in this particular one. They got one from the United States, one from Canada, one from Japan, one from Germany, one from Vietnam, and one from Mexico. So that was kind of neat. I thought that was interesting. I don't know. It kind of went along with the message of peace, I guess, that they were trying to promote, maybe. And then inside the back cover is a Captain Action ad for the Captain Action series, which I've never seen before either. So I knew it existed, but I haven't ever actually seen an issue or an ad for an issue. And a ad on the back for an Aurora stunt and drag race set. Now, I know Aurora as doing models, so I always find it interesting when I see an issue that has an ad for them doing something else, because I've never known that they ever did anything else. And then Marvel feature number 2 presents the Defenders. Let's get it out of the bag here. This was a fun read. I enjoyed. I think I've commented on a couple other channels in the past week or so that I enjoy the early Defenders of Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Namor. I like the way they come together, and it's not just, oh, let's go fight the bad guys like Avengers or something else. I think it's a neat time dynamic where they don't actually all that much like each other, but maybe have a mutual respect for each other. So this one is written by Roy Thomas. It's got that great cover on the front. Who I don't see a signature. And basically this has got Dormammu up to no good, and his worshippers on Earth kidnap Doctor Strange. It was written by Roy Thomas And artist is Ross Andrew with Sal Buscema on inks. And it's got interesting panel layouts. And basically they trap Doctor Strange out of his body. And then Namor and Hulk get the sense that something's wrong. So they come to visit, and Clea enlists their aid in recovering Doctor Strange. Roy Thomas and his wife Dan actually appear in the issue. That's them there. And it was a good story. It was a fun superhero story, you know, without getting bogged down in continuity and all that other stuff, which you know, is good too, but yeah, I think modern comics just do it a little bit too much. It seems like you have to know everything that's going on in the DC universe or the Marvel universe. You can't go 2 issues without it, you know, leading into something or being the aftermath or something else or whatever. So, and then we have the Bullpen Bulletins page from, what was it? What did I say this again? 1960s? What was that last issue? This is 72. I'm sorry. I don't think I said. So we got Stan Lee's Soapbox, the Mighty Marvel Checklist, and Apologia Pro Vita Bullpen, or what can we say, dear, after we say we're sorry? Wonder what they're sorry for. They said their double size, they made a mistake and said their double size issues were going to be 25 cents. But it is 25 cents. So what are they apologizing for? Let's see. At the last minute, we discovered, for economic reasons far too complicated to go into, because, you know, readers are stupid, and the regular sized issues are going up to 20 cents. Oh no, not that. And then we got a couple ads and a Submariner story that was reprinted from the 50s. And I'll be honest, I didn't read this either. But the artwork for the time period looks amazing. I don't know if this was Bill Everett or not. I know he was still doing some stuff in the 50s. And it looks a lot like his style. So it was either him or somebody, you know, doing their best to imitate him. So that was a good issue. I enjoyed that. That was fun. And I had never read it before, so... And then lastly, we have Chip and Dale. So don't leave yet. This is actually a pretty cool issue. This is number 56 from 1979, January 1979. So it was actually published in 78. It's got the Happy Birthday Mickey 50th anniversary logo on there. And I think I mentioned this one before when I got it in the Disney collection that I bought, because it's got the Mickey and Pluto silhouette in the back, and I just thought that was an awesome detail to add, because, I mean, quite frankly, in later issues, they wouldn't even have had the bench there or any of that. They would have just had a green background with them walking a frog, you know, and then just deleted everything else. So I enjoyed that cover just because of this silhouette more than anything. Thought that was cool. But then when you start reading it, and it is all new issues, it does have a Thor Hostess ad. Looks like we're doing Twinkies this time. And it's all new stories. I forgot to look up and see who the artists were. But it's filled with guest stars. So besides Chip and Dale, if you're a Disney fan, they run into the big bad wolf right off the bat, and they save one of the 3 little pigs from the big bad wolf. And then Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox come along, and it, hilarity ensues. And And that was it for that story. And then the second story, it has Mad Madam Mim from Sword and the Sorcerer, King Arthur story from the film. And when she makes her first appearance here, she's singing a version of Hi Diddle Dee Dee, which of course is from Pinocchio. And, you know, as a Disney fan, it's just kind of a fun issue to just kind of flip through and look at. It's got like all these different Disney characters in there that you don't normally see in Chip and Dale stories. The next story has Big Bad Wolf again, but Thumper shows up from Bambi. And he was kind of a regular in Chip and Dale, some of the later stories. Bear Fox and Bear show up again and get caught in the Big Bad Wolf's trap thanks to shenanigans from Chip and Dale. And then the last story, Chip and Dale run into, there's a Tom and Jerry ad, Gyro Gear Loose from the Duck Comics. So that was fun. It was a fun issue. I enjoyed it. Wasn't my favorite, but you know, for Chip and Dale, it was actually a pretty fun read. So, my favorite of these four probably would have to be the Defenders issue, Marvel feature. And you know, Hawk and Dove was fun read because I'd never seen it before, but I didn't really care for the characters. Certainly had no empathy for either one of them. And so that's it. That's today's episode. Tomorrow we're going down that rabbit hole that Doc Silverage sent me